Twit.com, FoxSports.com, talking a little bit about Tebow possibly being a starter. For me, from what I've seen at camp, we've talked about he's not the best practice player. He excels when the play breaks down. So, obviously, again, that he's having set repetitions, dropping back in the pocket, he's going to struggle. There's been practices where he's completed 3 of 7 or he's completed 2 of 8, so he's going to have that kind of inconsistencies. For me, it's Mark Sanchez's job to lose. So the reason they brought in Tebow, they kind of carved out this niche role for him, right, now as a special teams punt protector, as well as a guy that's going to run the Wildcat for them. So I think in order for him to have this motivation to lead this team, he really has to get some snaps, though. He can't obviously just be a backup that's on the sideline talking into a headset. He really has to be able to be on the field and have an impact. So I think that's important. I just don't think that it's going to come to the extreme where he's going to ultimately replace Mark Sanchez, because, again, if Sanchez performs as he's supposed to and he follows his career track, which, again, in spite of his struggles last year, had 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, still improved from the year before. So he kind of got the raw end of the deal in that way as the offensive line underperformed. So I think for Tebow, it's really that he's found this niche role, and I think a lot of this has been generated by the media and some of the fans that Tebow is ultimately going to replace Sanchez.
One theory, though, is that Mark Sanchez is losing or could lose his confidence, and that will open the door for Tim Tebow. What is your feeling on that conspiracy theory or just Mark's confidence?
Yeah, and I think he does have a fragile psyche. He's been kind of coddled. I think there was something to that when they had mentioned that under former offense coordinator Barton Schottenheimer, he had Mark Brunell behind him, wasn't really pushed. Obviously a 41-year-old Mark Brunell is not going to take over and lead this team to a Super Bowl realistically. So now he has a guy, and Tony Sperano is probably the best thing for him, a disciplinarian, a guy that's going to get in his ear, but he's going to be fair about it. He's going to tell him what he's doing wrong and how to fix it. So that's been a great thing for him. Everybody's making the argument that Tebow's going to, have Mark Sanchez frazzled, going to ultimately replace him. I think if anything, Tebow is one of the most selfless players in the NFL. He's not just a quarterback. He'll even tell you, Rex Ryan will tell you, he's a football player. So I think on those two fronts that Sanchez really has the opportunity, he has all the pieces around him to succeed. We've talked a little bit about the inexperience at the wide receiver core, which could be an issue. As far as Chaz Schilling's a guy and rookie Stephen Hill, averaging 1.3 yards per catch over 1.3 receptions over the career kind of thing. So I think for Sanchez, though, this is obviously a make or break here. There's no question about it, and they have to get off to a good start. But I think the beginning part of the schedule is very difficult to navigate. So we'll see if they're able to stay above 500, stay afloat, go 3-2. That sets them up well for the rest of the season.
What have you seen, specifically, from Mark Sanchez that indicates that this is going to be different? How has he changed?
And I think that Sanchez has just a command of his offense. Just seeing him barking out signals, basically, saying that I'm the leader of this team, not deferring to the coaches, really trying to take the initiative with things. So, and I think there's a newfound kind of respect in this locker room. You bring in a lot of rookie players, a guy in Terrence Ganaway, a guy in Stephen Hill. They're really taking to Sanchez, really understanding some of his leadership that really gets undervalued, I think, in the organization. So that's kind of been his initiative this offseason, is really step in that leadership role and not let all this Tebow mania kind of get into his head.